While we're in here, we're going to be doing a remain seal. This is just the cover gasket and the remain seal itself. So we're going to pull the actual cover off, and we got to pull the flywheel out. There is your part number, JV1657. This is a, some people call it Molly, some people call it Mall, however you want to pronounce it, but this is the kit I went with. I do like their products. They work pretty good. But we're going to be taking it off. I do have it jacked up. We're going to be taking the flywheel off. As you can see, it's right there. It looks like may have a little bit of a oil pan gasket leak as well, but it could be something else, but it looks more like a oil pan gasket to me. But we want to do the remain seal while we're in here just to eliminate that. We're going to pull this off. Should be 5 of these bolts right here. I think, no, 6, sorry, miscounted. Should be 6 of those, but we do have the cover gasket, but I'm going to look and see if it's leaking. More likely I'll go ahead and pull it out. Sometimes we even replace this whole cover, because on some of them they were pretty porous and they would actually leak oil through the actual cover. But we're going to pull these off. I think these are 15 millimeters or 6 of those. So I'm going to pull this off, and then we'll come back and show you how to pull the other off, because after you get this off, it's just some 10 millimeters. You have to take these right here off on the bottom. Should be 2 of those. They're the really long ones. They're like 5 inches long, 4 inches long, something like that. And then we can pull the, I forgot how many it was, maybe 6 or 7 10 millimeters, maybe 8 around that cover, and then we can pull the cover off. I just finished draining the oil out of here because I'm doing an oil change on this anyway. But we got the flywheel off, and now we have these 10 millimeters we need to take off. Like I said, there's 2 on the bottom, and then there's going to be 12 up here. Couldn't remember exactly how many were up there, but there's 2 here and 12 up here, I think. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yep. And all of these are 10 millimeters. So I'm going to pull this whole cover off, and then we're going to pop the seal out. I do have a tool that realigns this, and we're going to line it back up. Then I'll put the seal on after the cover is back in there. So I'm going to pop all these right here out. And most of these should not be too tight. I'm thinking they only, the 2 pan bolts only torque to like 9 foot-pounds or something like that. So those shouldn't be tight, and I think these tighten to 20 or 30 something foot-pounds. I'll look that up exactly before I close out the video, so y'all know exactly what that is, and I'm going to torque those back down. So let me take these off, and before I pull it off, I'll show y'all how I pull it out, and how you will probably have to put some silicone on the gasket right there also to make sure that it seals between that and the oil pan and the block. We got all the bolts out now. I'm going to get a screwdriver and just that easy, I guess, pull this out. And I always keep a pan underneath here just in case any oil comes out. Also, we're going to pull, if we can, the little plug right there out, because we want to check and make sure that that passage is clear and that everything looks good behind here. All you're going to do, you probably have to get a pick, get behind it, and you should be able to pull it out fairly easy. Let me see if I can do it with this screwdriver. Come on. Try not to break it if I can help it. I'm probably going to get a pick in here, just because it is a little tight. But you want to always pull this out. Come on. It's going to be a pain today. Come up, there we go. See what I mean? Just make sure that it's not broken. Make sure that O-ring good and soft. They make a metal one, and this, like I said, this one doesn't have a whole lot of miles on it, so we should be good. You can see the cam right there, oil come out from up there as well. So we're going to clean all this off, and whenever I get ready to put it back on, I will show y'all how we line it up with the tool, and I'll give y'all the part number to the tool as well. So I got like 3 bolts that's kind of hand tight. These right here, you can see I can move them. Those 2 aren't even all the way in, but you put the cover up there, a couple bolts in there just to hold it. Then here is the tool. So this is a tool from Mr. Gasket. They're not a sponsor or anything, but this is the one I got. It is a plastic tool, and it's got like a rubber O-ring that goes all the way around it inside of a groove. I'll show it to you whenever I pull it back out. But I start a couple of them, put this tool in, and it's pretty snug in here. So make sure you lube up the O-ring too if you use this tool. But they make metal ones also. I forgot who makes the metal ones, but I like this plastic one right here because it does slip in a little bit easier. You ain't got to worry about damaging anything with it, because I have one for the front timing cover as well, and it's plastic, and I like using a plastic one or composite, however you want to call it, on those, just so I'm not messing up the crank surfaces on here or any of that stuff where like seals and stuff ride. But we're doing this without the seal in. To pull it out, it's got these little notches. You just use a screwdriver and you can pop it out pretty easy. But we got it put in there, and I'm gonna go around and start all of these and just run them down until they touch, just to pull the cover in. I do have the new gasket on here as well, but once you get that kind of just cinched down like flush without any torque on it, go ahead and put these in. I did put some silicone right there as well, but put the bottom ones in, and I always torque those first, and then I come back and torque these so it pulls it down onto the gasket. We got the cover on. These torque to 18 foot-pounds, and these lower ones torque to 108 inch-pounds. So that comes out to be roughly 9 foot-pounds on that, and then like I said, 18 on these. Now we got all this in, and now I'm going to put the seal in, and all you're going to do is make it where you can put that centerpiece right there, and then you can just pretty much push this on as much as you can with your hands. All right, and then I'm going to get like a flat surface, kind of like a punch or something, like a bigger one that'll go span across that whole piece, and just tap that around with the punch and the hammer and make sure that it just sits flat up against the surface. Normally I have a big brass punch and I can't find it, but we're just going to go around and do that. Alright, there we go. That should be good. I did make sure there was some oil around the outside, just a little bit of it, so it didn't start up dry, because that can cause a problem as well. Now, take the flywheel and line her back up. Looks like right here. I like that they put the extra hole in the middle to kind of show you where all that goes. Now when you're torquing this on the flex plate, as the book says to do it in 3 different steps. You go 15, 37, and then 74 foot-pounds. So we're going to torque this on real quick, and once we torque this on, we're going to start putting the transmission back in, and then whenever I get it back in and running and all that stuff, I'll show me putting some fluid in it and give you some torque specs on everything, and then we will take it for a test drive. But that should be the next step. So it'll only be just a couple seconds for y'all, but it's going to be an hour or so for me. So we got her running, and we're about to take her on a test drive. I had a hard time getting her to crank because, one, the battery was dead. I had to redo that. And 2, it was throwing a theft deterrent light. I'm throwing my scanner out with the OBD2 reader connector, whatever you want to call it. But we was having a hard time getting it cranked because it had a theft deterrent light on there. And I did not know why. But I pulled all the fuses, let it sit for about 10 minutes. That went to the anti-theft system. There's 4 fuses. I think it's 19, 6, 46, and I can't remember the other one. I want to say like 24, 26, somewhere around there, but I know it's 19, 6, and 46. But we pulled all 4 of them, let it sit for about 10 minutes, put them back in, then it crunk up and fired up like nothing was wrong. The code was gone, so don't know what that was about. I guess maybe because the battery was dead, and I had it unplugged for so long that it just kind of reset. It wouldn't even lock the doors, unlock it with the key fob. It was weird, but we got it all cleared. Now we're going to take it for a test drive. So let me get it out onto the road real quick, because I got to do a little bit of maneuvering because it's kind of tight in my driveway. If you can't tell, there's 3 in front of me and there's 1 behind me. So, and I don't know if I can squeeze past 4Runner yet or not. I may have to go on the right side, which I really don't want to because that's my neighbor's yard. But let me get this out on the road and then we'll come back and I'll show y'all me test driving it. Alright, we are test driving it now, and it is shifting great, which kind of expected it to. Roll this window up, which I was kind of expecting it to, because it is a fully remanufactured transmission with a 3-year warranty. I did get it from O'Reilly's, not a sponsor. I'll put up the part number. I don't know if I can find one on Amazon or not, but I'll try to find that. It did take about, I think it was 6 quarts of fluid to fill it up from everything, and a little bit did leak out through the dipstick tube just because it is a 2-piece and it was leaking through there. But we are running about 55. I know y'all can't see that, but we are running about 55 right now, and it is running great. No vibrations, nothing. God, I'm so happy about this. I've had to wait on this transmission for a while because it was not in stock. They did send it to me about 3 or 4 weeks after I ordered it. But it is running great. It shifts good. You can't even feel it shift. It shifts so smooth. We use Valvoline, Nextron, Mercron. I'll have to get a little bit of the, rust off the brakes, because it did sit for a while. Because I've had this car probably 2 months, just waiting on parts. She's shifting great. The seat does slide a little bit though. I'm gonna turn around at this school right here. Quick U-turn. Oh yeah. I'm gonna wait on these cars. Yeah, I'm very pleased with how it's running. At first it didn't want to idle right, I guess because the idle was screwed up from sitting for so long. Ooh. Just want to catch some tires right there. Check the fluid again when we get back to the house, just to be sure that everything is going good. Do y'all like the ride-alongs? I see a good bit of the repair videos and stuff where people do ride-alongs. I don't know if y'all enjoy them or what. Sometimes I like watching them. Sometimes I can fast forward through there. I guess it kind of depends on the situation. I try to do it just on like the big jobs. Like there's, you know, brakes or something. I typically don't try to bring y'all with me on that, but like this, a big transmission replacement, I wouldn't mind seeing ride-alongs on those types of videos just to make sure that it was shifting great and make sure everybody did everything right. It's a little humid today. It's a popular road about around 3-4 o'clock. I do got to go look at one more car today. It's a Tahoe. Somebody had a washer fluid reservoir, said it's leaking. They don't know where it's leaking from or if it's a hose or what. They said it's leaking, so I'm going to run and do that today too. One of these days I'm going to do a live with y'all and do like an all-day thing. Maybe when I'm at the dealership looking at stuff, I can kind of bring y'all along with me, show y'all like typically how I do that type of stuff. Might do it for about an hour or so, just depending on what I'm working on. Y'all let me know down in the comments if y'all wouldn't mind seeing like a live with some of that stuff. And if it takes off, I'll probably try to do like one a month or something like that, every 2 weeks, somewhere along those lines. Man, she's shifting good. I'm glad. Battery voltage is a little lower than I would like for it to be. I think I'd like to see it at least 14 on these GMs, especially the V8s. I know on the Corvettes they had issues where you re-ran the alternator wire on some of the, I think it's a C6 or C, yeah, I think it's C6s. You re-ram the wire and then you put a high amp alternator on there. I think like power something, I forgot who it was, like Power Start or something like that. But they make a killer alternator. I did one on a Corvette one time, and dude, it bumped the charging amps and voltages up really good. Like it was around almost 7, like 14, 5, 7, 15, around that. Yeah, we are back to the house. She is shifting great. Did an oil change and tire rotation on this too. But this is going to conclude the video. I do got to check the fluid real quick, but this is going to conclude the video. I put all the parts and stuff I used on there in the description. If you got any questions, comments, concerns on what I did, did something wrong, let me know. I'll try to fix it in the comment section, or if there's something I left out, y'all let me know too. As always, Patreon, the shirts, hats, the Instagram, all that stuff. Just hit me up. I'll get it to you if y'all want any of that. And y'all remember, torque this tight. Y'all have a great day.